Hi, I'm Benjamin Shipman and I'm Managing Director and one of three brothers who founded the Hair Movement brand. I'm here today in our London concept salon and I thought I'd share with you a bit about Nice and Smooth, our professional in-salon smoothing treatment. We're actually the third generation in the industry. In fact, in 1929, our grandpa Jack brought the blow dry to Wales. And 12 years ago, we pioneered the professional smoothing category with the launch of the Cabello treatment. In 2020, Cabello, together with a few of our other hair care brands, became the Hair Movement. So the first thing we should cover about Nice and Smooth is that it's a foundational smoothing treatment that works to repair and reset the hair by strengthening the bonds and other layers of the strand. It contains some killer ingredients like carbocysteine, sunflower oil, coconut oil, linseed oil, argan oil, macadamia oil, rosemary leaf extract and hydrolyzed wheat protein. The results are stronger hair strands and with healthier hair comes radically reduced frizz, softer texture and easier to manage hair. With a stronger foundation comes more options, allowing your stylists and their guests to do so much more with their hair. And something we've really noticed since the pandemic is that people are much more conscious about the building blocks of wellness, from their hair down to the rest of the body. Foundational strength has never been more important on every level. But before I continue, I think it's definitely worth mentioning that your stylists do not need to take time out from the salon for expensive education. Spend your training budget where it's really needed. Nice and Smooth is designed to be simple to understand and easy to work with. The step-by-step video and support materials is more than enough for your stylist to understand how to get the results. A foundational smoothing treatment doesn't need to be complicated, and compared to the other technical services you offer day in and day out, this is simply not that complex. In fact, we often recommend that you build a smoothing business based on juniors. It's the perfect treatment for them to be offering. So on that note, let me give you a breakdown to how the tribe here at the Hair Movement work with it. Firstly, the guys lived with it for about 8 months before we launched it as a brand. This allowed us to try the performance and get feedback from hundreds of guests. But equally as important, we nailed how we need to talk about it. Let's start with the fact that Nice and Smooth is the perfect conversation starter. When we talk about Nice and Smooth, we're talking about the foundation of hair. We found that this creates a natural, non-intrusive way of talking about their hair care routine and general habits in a more holistic way, covering every single base, from how much heat they use on their hair at home, how hard the water is where they live, to what products they use. But really, the consultation for Nice and Smooth is an open and honest conversation about how to start a new, overall healthier relationship with their hair. This treatment is that first step. Now, a question we often get asked is, how should a salon position a Nice and Smooth treatment? For us, that's a no-brainer, but I do understand why that question is asked, and it's because of all the keratin, straightening, Brazilian treatments out there. Now, this is categorically not one of those. Traditionally, a Brazilian treatment would work on the outside of the hair, coating it previously with illegal limits of a preservative called formaldehyde. The result was straight hair, and that's essentially what those treatments are: straightening, styling products that would give the appearance of shiny, healthy hair. Now, Nice and Smooth, as I mentioned, is not that, and should absolutely not be positioned in that way, as it would just create confusion for guests and set the wrong expectations. You don't want to mismarket a treatment, to paying customers, which is, I know nobody wants to do. It also contradicts what they would see on social media, in the press, and it's important to keep that consistency. Instead, talk about this as a foundational smoothing treatment, a complete hair reset, and the start of a new relationship with their hair. The benefits will vary depending on guest. If someone has frizzy hair, it will radically reduce frizz, whilst increasing manageability. If someone has very coarse, straw-like hair, the biggest change will be more tactile. They will feel it, but you may not necessarily see it. It's about that internal restructure and internal health. Increased shine and smoothness comes from internal health. No coating, no magic, no tricks. What we do know for certain is that Nice and Smooth gives us an opportunity to see our guests 4 times more a year than we otherwise would. And by doing that, increasing loyalty due to building an even stronger relationship, whilst offering them a service which kind of becomes a staple part of their overall hair care journey. Our recommendation is that guests are booked in 3 weeks before every other colour cycle, so roughly every 12 weeks. That's not because the treatment wears off, it's because the average head needs a reset about every 12 weeks. This again is very much down to the lifestyle and environment of modern living. We also get asked about how much someone should charge for Nice and Smooth, so let's tackle this one. Just as with colour, this is down to each and every salon and stylist. We would suggest looking at what the hourly rate is based on a colour service and work it out from there. When up and running, the hands-on time for a stylist is roughly an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and 20 minutes. There's about 50 to 60 minute gap in between applying the treatment and infusing it, which means another guest can be booked in during the window. What we suggest is to avoid overpricing the treatment by doing so making it a niche service. Instead, see it as an added value staple service which allows you to see your guests more frequently. Another thing that we have found is that those guests who have a Nice and Smooth treatment will purchase their hair care from their stylist. This means that instead of doing the average 5% home hair care, here at the salon we actually do 21%. This is because the conversation about how to continue building on the foundation of healthy hair has been had and continues to be had. Now listen, I could talk for hours about Nice and Smooth and all the business benefits it has, in addition to the incredible health benefits it has on our guests' hair. But I do need to cut somewhere, so let me leave you with this. Here at The Movement, we aim to help guide you on your smoothing journey with Nice and Smooth. And as we walk in your shoes day in and day out, we know what we're talking about. And when we give you advice to help you build your smoothing business, it actually comes from reality. And with all the challenges that have been and all the challenges that we're about to face, we know that every salon needs to be offering their guests that added extra. For us, Nice and Smooth is one of those extras.